Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the R&D show. We are your hosts. I'm Shari.
I'm Ryan.
And you're tuning into the R&D show.
Yeah.
We back. We back. Now sit on down. Come on in, sit on down. Hey.
You just came up with that?
So we've been gone for, I think, 2 weeks, maybe. As I stated in one of our other videos, as some of you have seen, we were away on an annual wellness retreat that we put together and we host every single year, and it was an amazing experience. It was such a beautiful, amazing time.
Yeah, Thailand is gorgeous. The weather was amazing. The food was incredible. And seeing Big Buddha was just peaceful. So it was a wonderful trip.
Yeah, see, there's Buddha back here, but we got to see Big Buddha, which watches over all of Phuket. It's at the very top of the rainforest, and such an amazing, spiritual, peaceful experience. You just take it all in, and I always say you have to be intentional about things, and when you're intentional, you get to feel those things. And I love just standing in the presence and again, allowing myself to be just a spiritual being, you know, not putting a cap on my spirituality and depriving myself of all the goodness that being spiritual has to offer. So I really appreciated that moment, and again, appreciate just being back in Thailand because the grounds are just so peaceful to me, and it's just a beautiful place.
Yeah, beautiful place, beautiful people, beautiful culture. Yeah, it's a great way to reset and
So,
recharge.
Any of y'all want to go with us next year on the wellness retreat? We would love to have you. Of course, we'll promote it in advance, and it's a great opportunity to just be in a different environment, be in a safe space that allows you to unpack, that allows you to be vulnerable, that allows you to be yourself, and to be free to the new healing process. You know, some of us cannot always heal in the same environment that got us sick. So being away just gives you that freedom to be able to do so.
And sometimes being away with another group of people that are intentional about healing.
Yeah.
You know, you have opportunity to learn from each other, to help each other grow. And so that was really awesome because we went with 4 other people, and just to hear their stories and to be able to learn from them was a great experience as well.
Absolutely. And we're not here to judge, we're not here to, and it's confidentiality. So you're also not here to go spread nobody's business, posting on social media, tell your friends and family. It's what happens there stays there, and hopefully, you know, you come back not the same way that you left. So it's a great experience. So cheers to the 2024 wellness retreat, and look forward to 2025.
Good times.
So we are happy to be back, and there's so much to talk about, and I know we won't get to all of it in today's video, but I definitely want to start off by saying shout out to all the millimeters, and just shout out to everyone that I met at Mimosas with Melody. It was an amazing time. It was an amazing experience, and it was probably everything that I hoped it would be and more. I'll say that because I've met a lot of reality TV stars. I have been in the presence of a lot of reality TV stars, and I met a lot of them. And a lot of times they have such an ego. It's very interesting because you would think that they're Beyonce, and Beyonce don't even act like she's Beyonce. So it's really interesting to meet people that are on reality TV, and they have such a unapproachable energy, and they just seem so superior. Like, Melody was nothing like that. And I want to start off by saying I stayed to the very end, and I watched her greet almost every single person that wanted a hug, that wanted to talk to her, that wanted a picture. She stayed to the very end, and showered them with that type of love and attention. And that was just so beautiful to witness, because some people just make everything just about them. But in that space, she made it about everybody. And she made everybody feel comfortable and welcomed and like they mattered. And also having that type of fan base. And this is why I say your fan base is sometimes going to be, they're going to be a reflection of you. And the millimeters are a reflection of Melody, and they have such great energy because she has such great energy, because she puts out there, you know, positive energy, affirmations, spirituality, self-care, love, respect, and peace. And so you got to feel all that in this room, and you felt welcomed, and you felt appreciated, which made you want to appreciate her more and celebrate her more. And so I can wholeheartedly say that I understand why she has such a huge, not only following, but so many people like us that go hard for her on social media, on YouTube, you know, as content creators, because she's deserving of all of that. And this is also a way that we're giving her flowers, and it felt great to be able to give her flowers in person. I've done it so many times on like Instagram, and I've done it here on YouTube, but to be on that stage and give her flowers where she can smell them and see them is an experience that I'll never forget. And I'm grateful to have been invited and to accept that invitation and to be in that room and to meet other content creators and also just all of our beautiful R&D fans. Like it's something that I'll never forget, and I look forward to the next one. Like we'll both be at the next one. We'll both be there, but definitely look forward to that. And to Melanie, I'll say just thank you for your grace, and thank you for being unapologetic about telling your raw, authentic story to help others, because sometimes it takes one person to give other people permission to be free from what they thought they couldn't be free from, and also to give them permission to just keep living and keep going and to be their best selves. And another thing that I thought was great was Miss Van, Mel's mom. She was talking to me, and she's just like,
"Why are you blushing?"
Cause she was like, "I'll watch you guys." I was like, "Oh man," like it feels good because you never know who's watching you. And I remember growing up, and that was one of the main things. My grandma, who's my best friend, she would be like, "You never know who's watching you." And so you always want to represent yourself wherever you go, because you never know what opportunity is in the room and who's watching you. And so that was just a beautiful thing to have a conversation with her. But shout out to just everybody that I got to have a really great moment with. You know, Drew Sidora from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, such a sweetheart. Another person that has such great energy and isn't like this individual that, well, I'm on Housewives and I'm better than everybody. You know what I mean? Because there are some that are on Real Housewives of Atlanta that give that off. And she was so like refreshing and excited for us, for the R&D show. And she's like, "I'm gonna watch y'all," and we just had such a great conversation. And she just excited to also receive her flowers as well, and to just be in that room. Same with Claudia Jordan. You know, grew up watching Claudia Jordan for a long time. I can't remember where I first seen her at, but for a very, very long time. And another person that is just so humble and also very refreshing and beautiful, just like Drew. Like, you see these women like in magazines and on TV and stuff like that, but to see them in person and how beautiful they are, and for their personality and their energy to match that beauty, it makes that experience even better. So I really appreciate just all those beautiful women that was in that room that received me, you know, a Black man, and listened to what I had to say, respect what I had to say, and honored what I had to say. And so that was fulfilling for me. And it lets me know that our job and what we're doing is not in vain, because we are an advocate and a voice, not only for our Black men, but also for our Black women, because we feel like we all deserve to win. So thank you so much, Melody. And thank you to all the beautiful millimeters. We love y'all.
Yeah, thank you for representing the R&D show well, for going there, shining your light amongst all these other beautiful lights. And it's really great to hear that like Melodies and Drew's, that energy match like their outer beauty. So they have the inner beauty as well. So that's really, really, really dope. And
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's good. Thank you. I appreciate that. And you're more than welcome. I always want to be a great representation of our brand. And so, yeah, we appreciate that. And speaking of Melody, a few days ago, the official cast photo for Love and Marriage Huntsville season 5 dropped. And it gave me a little bit of Tyler Perry. It gave me a little bit of the haves and have-nots. Okay. That's what the photo did. But besides that, Martell is in all white, front and center.
I was wondering, is Martell going to be in it? So he's in it.
He's definitely going to be in it.
Okay. This is going to be interesting to see what the season's going to be about.
And not only that, they brought back Destiny.
Okay.
So Destiny's back. And then they have
But there were some unresolved things, that happened with Destiny, right, and Melody that they needed to probably maybe work through. Maybe we get to see them work through it, or maybe not. It'd be interesting to see.
Destiny is Martell's best friend, so.
Ooh, that's gonna be.
I honestly, I feel like we, the fans from season 1, are a little over all of that storyline, and we just want something different. Mm-hmm. I get coming back on one, but I feel like been there, done that. It'd be great to just see something different play out, because I really don't want it to be the Melody show, which means that everybody's coming from Melody. And I don't want it to be the Melody and Martell show, because we're over that as well. We would like to see them grow in a different way, a different direction, and see something else play out.
Yeah. Wasn't he going to take a break from the show? There was talk of it. I know there was talk of him going to see a mental health therapist. Yeah. But maybe he's going to show that on TV, which we may see him grow past his issues, which would be great if we can see his growth. That's what we would like to see, growth.
I mean, it would be great, but, from some of the things that he's done, like getting on live and saying certain things, and then even allowing his baby mama to get on live and say
why was he in white?
Because they're right in all white at that. Because their color scheme was black and white. Okay. But he really should have on all black.
Yeah, that's what
like, you really should have on black, but okay. He gave prom 1999.
Oh, Lord.
And he's all white. It was like prom 1999.
He gave you old school, okay.
Yeah, it was like old school prom fit.
No, that's not
about 1999.
That's about when I went to prom.
That was like 1999. But it was just like, it kind of looked like that. But, to each his own. We're hoping that this is not going to be an attack season. Mm-hmm. I think we've seen enough of that. It'll be great to see something different, and based off of a lot of reality TV shows where they're shaking things up because it's been attack seasons, it will be in Carlos's best interest to not make this an attack season, because those fans, listen, there's a lot of people be acting as if viewership and fans of shows don't really have a voice, but they really do, especially if it comes in like hundreds of thousands of people feeling the same type of way. You start to feel those effects. So hopefully he can understand that the fans are kind of tired of a certain narrative being played.
Yeah, I think it's nice to have some element of drama, some conflict associated with this show, but also you need to see the other part. You need to see the light. You need to see the positive things that are happening. Yeah. Like the Mimosas with Melody. That would have been nice to see. I know we talked about that. So just see people's light shining in a different way.
That was such a missed opportunity, because, again, having a balance is important, right? The good and the bad. I think authentic drama is great, but not when it's just for a storyline. Mm-hmm. When you're just doing this for a storyline so you can be relevant on the show, that's when it becomes, we understand, we already know what you're doing and we're over it. But if something authentic happens, got it. However, we don't want to see the same people going at it. I think that's what causes like friction.
But we want to see growth. With any great storyline, you have conflict and you have issues, but there's some resolution. And the issue with Real Housewives of Potomac is there was really no resolution. All we saw was just conflict, strife. You get tired of seeing that. Even on Love and Marriage, Huntsville, Alabama, you get tired of seeing all of the strife. Like, where is the growth of each character? And we've seen some of that from Melody, and we would love to see like them just showing more of that, of her shining, and more of the other cast members shining and doing their thing. So
yeah, because it's great to see people grow out of the space that they were in the previous season. And I think because we have seen Melody grow out of those spaces and protect her peace, some people can't take that because they're stuck and they project where they're at. And they also react and respond from the level that they're at. So when they're not on that level of, okay, I'm learning how to protect my peace, I'm no longer in this space, it causes friction. And I think that's one thing about Martell is because he's not there yet, and so he pokes. He likes to try to poke the bear until the bear wakes up, and then when the bear wakes up, now it's the bear's fault. You know what I mean? So it's just, we have to be very careful about, like, for one, these expectations of wanting to see that type of dynamic. I think, again, it's normal emotions for humans to go through the roller coaster ride of having ups and downs, but if it's the same people every single season and there's been no resolve and no resolution, let's move past that. They can film with other people. We need to see a story of growth on, you know what I'm saying, through a different lens of what's happening and transpiring. But I personally, like, I'm not going to look forward to seeing Martell want to have his moment throughout the whole Love and Marriage Huntsville when it comes to Melody. Like, I think we're over that.
Yeah, been there, done that, seen it. I don't want to see it again.
Yeah, I think we're over that. And if we do get to see him in therapy, that's great. And whatever else is going on in his life, that's positive. But all the negative stuff that we've seen play out, like in the media since they've been filming, I'm pretty sure some of that is going to be aired on there. But again, the mass majority of fans are over, like completely over it. And it's very interesting, again, how Carlos spends so much time on Bravo as if like Andy needs to just ban him from doing these reviews, and hardly speaks on his own show.
Really?
Yeah, so he did a live with Heavenly and said Juan Dixon is the worst husband in reality TV history.
Wow.
Compared to Martell,
but you also think about Teresa from Real Housewives of New Jersey. I don't know what happened there. I know he did some stuff illegal, ended up in jail, but like there's been a lot to go on.
Yeah, but that's crazy. I'm like, to say him I would just say nothing at all. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because you're kind of throwing your rocks and hiding your hands. You're throwing your rocks to somebody else, but then you're hiding your hands when it comes to the main person on your cast.
So what was he saying about, like, was he an advocate for Juan not being on TV, or was he just making a statement that
he was saying that he's the worst in reality TV because, one, he doesn't show up for Robin at all at none of these reunions. He doesn't show up for her, and he allows her to take all the punches when it comes to him, instead of him protecting her in that space and having a voice and being like, it was me, these were my decisions, answering those tough questions. Like, he's never been at the reunion, mainly because he's never wanted to be on the show, you know what I mean? And then also the storyline regarding him, of course he's not going to talk about that because she don't even want to talk about it. And so I get what he was trying to say, but at the same time, I don't know if that's a great thing to say when you have somebody that is unhinged on your show who has caused chaos, who's an agent of chaos at that.
Maybe I'm trying to think about it from his perspective. Maybe saying of being active on the show. At least we're seeing the chaos. At least we're seeing Martell, filming and things of that nature. Even though it is,
but that's not Melody's husband though.
Yeah.
I get what he is trying to say. Yeah. Right, but I don't know.
I mean, in terms of, it depends on how he means the worst. If you're talking about in terms of worst being an actual husband, or he's talking about being like worse in terms of like participating and being part of the show and have all this drama come on outside of the show and not really talking about it on the show and not being there to defend. So I don't know how he's
I guess if you put it in that way, if you're talking about actual husband right now, then I get it, because That's not Melanie husband.
Yeah.
She's not with Mike anymore. So you're talking about on reality TV as of now, and as far as husbands go, okay, I understand where you're coming from a little bit. But as far as a man that's on reality TV, as far as their actions and behavior, it would definitely, the award goes to Martell. You have won. you win the award. The Oscar goes to you. But I don't know. We just have to wait to see if he's gonna do recaps about his own show and what that looks like, and also with the new couple that's on the show, what they bring to the show, and just overall what the season's gonna bring.
I hate to digress a little bit, but we watched a little bit of the Wendy Williams special last night, and we saw this woman that was broken from having a divorce with her husband, where her husband, in essence, almost had everything. And so that was really heartbreaking for me to see. But now I'm kind of uplifted because I'm talking about Melody. We see almost the opposite. She was able to still have her light. Wendy kind of lost her light. And so to be able to have both examples of what it could be and what it is, like it's great to see two different sides of a coin. Like, how are you going to be in terms of adversity when you go through something difficult? How are you going to respond? But a lot of that is rooted in self-worth. It seems like Melody had a strong foundation of self-worth going into the relationship. So it's important as you get in these relationships to have that foundational level of self-worth. So if something were to happen, you're not going to be just heartbroken and can't move on, and your whole light's going to be dim. And it's nice to see how Melody and you talked about Drew recovered. They still have their light, but it was heartbreaking to see Wendy on that documentary.
Yeah. And this is why it's so important to, for one, love yourself. You know, the best love that any man and or woman can have, and I say it and I'll continue to say this, is the love of self and God's love. That's the best love. And if you don't know how to love yourself in and out, up and down, light and darkness, then there's a problem there. Because someone's going to see that and prey on that. Not pray to God on that, but pray to attack and have an intention to damage and or use and abuse, to use that, to weaponize the fact that this person doesn't love themselves and they need me. Mm-hmm. And another thing that I say is you don't need anybody. You know, if you want someone, that's different, but nobody needs anybody unless you put yourself in a space of being needy. And then people can also sense that, certain people, and prey on that as well. And so with Wendy, because in her childhood, she didn't hear things that were affirming to her mental health, in her social and emotional health, and to her security. The things that she heard made her feel insecure, made her feel less than, and didn't make her feel worthy.
I'm talking about Wendy Williams.
Yeah, Wendy Williams. And with her not being able to feel that way, she ended up marrying a man who showed her certain things, but he became her everything, which is so dangerous because nobody should become your everything. And then when, you know, it started to spiral out of control, she knew about it already spiraling, but it wasn't until the baby came along that really broke her. And caused her to go ahead and file for that divorce, which then caused her to spiral even more. And so as much as Kevin was doing negative things to Wendy Williams, he was also a positive force in her life, which is kind of weird, but he was, because she depended on him so much. That's why he was a positive force, and he kept her grounded. But it's super sad to see her, you know, fall apart this way. And again, we're continuing, you know, I love Wendy Williams, to root for her and want her to be better and do better. And just like I said at Mimosas with Melody, on the other side of that fear is freedom, but you have to allow yourself to get there. You have to trust and believe and honor yourself enough to know your worth and to know that you're worthy of what freedom looks like, what love, a certain type of love looks like, a certain type of security looks like, a certain type of protection, and just a certain type of relationship, which then brings me to, because I wasn't gonna get into this, but social media, there was a post that was done, and she was basically saying,
who is she?
It's just somebody on on Instagram.
Okay.
She had did a post, and she was just basically saying, black men are having a tough time with the way that women have evolved. Like, we don't need y'all. We are educated, we're this, we're that. She just had all of these things. Like, we don't need to be married to y'all. We have careers, and some of y'all don't like that. And she was going and going. And then I had a response, and I just pretty much said, women are having a tough time with the way that men have evolved. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying all men, and she shouldn't say all women, because we didn't say all in front of it. It was just, she said women, I said men. But of course, it's not everybody. There's a percentage of these people that we're speaking of. And I was speaking of a percentage of men who have evolved, who have gone to therapy, who've done some life work, who are educated, who aren't just looking for this trophy wife to marry, who are okay being single as well, who's thriving in their careers, who's taking care of their children still, who is establishing some type of relationship with God, or whether they just be spiritual, whatever the case may be, and also who are okay just being who they are, whether they want to dress the way that they want to dress, they want to go on guys trips, they want to do all of these, they want to laugh, they want to be emotional and show emotions in a positive way. Not emotional to where you're being destructive and tearing stuff up, but being vulnerable to what it is, allowing yourself to feel and going through that process of healing, and to sharing that in a safe space. And then again, just being the man who they are and not who society tells them to be, and not who women, sometimes a lot of black women, tell us to be, because a lot of times you always hear certain things about men being sassy or zesty or spicy. Oh, you want to go back and forth with women? Oh God, like, who created this batch of men? Like, they have voices and they want to talk back, and it's like all of these things. And so it caused like this huge, great debate, and it's still going on today. This is the third day of people going back and forth. But as I read, there's 1,000 comments underneath my post right now. But as I read a lot of those comments from men and women, because the men are underneath there just as much as the women, and of course there's a majority more women underneath there than men, but there are men that's out there too, who are speaking. But what I realize is two things can be true. It can be exactly what she said and also what I said. And on top of that, what I also realize is there's a lot of hurt in the black culture, in the black community. There's a lot of hurt black women, and there's a lot of hurt black men. But I also understand why, like, we had this conversation, and I thought about my mom when we were talking, why black women have been hurt for so long, and why they've gotten to a point now where they are saying that they're okay being single. There aren't no good men out there. Everybody's the same. If there are some good men, it's a 1%, and where are they? It all started with, for me, when I think about that hurt in my family of black women, certain women and black women that I know, it started with the man leaving that family, leaving that black woman to take care of however many kids, to take care of that household, as he goes and just disappear and never comes back. And it puts a bad taste in your mouth, because some people never get over that. I know my mom had a tough time, and I think even today, just a simple fact, like, I had your children, these children that we should have been raising together, whether we were together or not. We should have still raised them. You abandoned these children and left that responsibility on me, which is another level of hurt, because your life changes forever. You know what I mean? And to not have somebody who's supposed to be there to help protect and to support, definitely, I guess, intensifies that punch even more, and makes you even more hurt. So yes, black women have been hurt a lot by black men just from the beginning of, as far as I can remember, right?
Yeah, black women have been the number one advocate of black men. They've raised us, they've supported us. Even you think about the civil rights movement, black women were really behind a lot of that. They may not have been at the forefront as much, but they were really the backbone. You think about the churches, black women have been the backbone. You think about anything happens with black men, it's black women that are going to stand up. And I guess black women feel taken advantage of and not having anyone there to stand up for them. And when your relationship with black men, they're not taking care of the black women and they're leaving them to fend for themselves and the kids. So it definitely is a lot of heartbreak, a lot of hurt within our community, a lot of disappointment.
Yeah.
And some people can blame it on society, blame it on the criminal justice system, blame it on racism, and all of that is a factor. But there are things that we can control. You know, we can control how we treat our own women. We can control those things. We can't control some of the other things that institutionalize racism and things of that nature, but we can control certain behaviors that we have. We can control raising our kids. We can control uplifting black women, loving black women, loving black men, loving just people in the black, community, and loving everybody, having reverence for everybody.
Absolutely.
So,
and it starts with us. Like, if we talk about it and we want to see it happen, it starts with us as being the change that we want to see. Because you can't talk about these things, but you're not being proactive in a positive way. It does nobody any good if we're attacking each other on our thought process, on our perspective, on where we are and how we got here. You know what I mean? I think that it's okay to have that conversation and to express. And then, like I said, at the end of the day, what I gathered from most of my correspondence with the black women that wanted to have that intellectual conversation of not attacking me, but actually having a conversation, is two things can be true. And I think we both got that at the end of the day. We both agreed that, we all have work to do, because two things can be true. But one thing that stood out was a black man saying, I embody all of these great qualities. Like, I am a good guy. But the thing about it is, I may be on the slightly unattractive side. I might be slightly not as attractive as what maybe, they want. And so they look over me. And I challenged a few women and said, so if he embodies all of these great qualities that you said that you're looking for, but it's packaged in a box of a man that you feel is slightly not as attractive as you would like, do you just pass on dating and missing this opportunity of the great man that you speak of wanting? Or do you continue to do the same thing and go after the same type of guys and frequent the same type of places and end up with the same results, which eventually causes you to be bitter? So how do you also find the balance of, I guess, shortening whatever this list is that you've had in your mind of what it should look like, and then ultimately what it should look like is right in front of you, but the physical doesn't necessarily match exactly what you want? Like,
I mean, that's a tough challenge, Yeah. I think attraction is important. Is attraction important? Something that's important. Physical attraction is important. There's other things, but is it the most important? Can you become attracted to someone because of their inner qualities? But I think with most people, they're, having a base level of attractiveness or being attracted to. It's not even about the world seeing that person as attractive. It's about you seeing that person as attractive.
Yeah.
And so just digging a little bit deeper and maybe being unconventional in terms of what you find as attractive. It may not necessarily be the physical. It may be the inner. It may be that he's stable. It may be that whatever it may be. Maybe that he takes care of me. That really turns me on. Whatever it may be, finding it in different ways, being more open-minded. And it may happen to be someone of a different race, And so just staying open-minded, I think is important.
And definitely might be a different race, because another woman that I talked to, she said she found all of those things that me and her talked about in a white man, and she ended up marrying him and having kids by him. And she's like, and I still support my black, men and things of that nature, but I just so happen to find everything packaged that I wanted in a man that's white. And I mean, to each his own. I feel like love really doesn't have a color, because it just doesn't. God created us to love and to be loved. And if this person is a good person that you've decided to relationship with, then that's all that matters. You're doing something that feels good to you, and you're happy with your decision. Because like you just said, it's not about the world. But then we see the flip side of these women who get with these slightly less attractive men, but they have a lot of money. And it's almost as if they become attractive because there's money that comes into play.
Yeah.
So
they have the myths, they have the money. But also sometimes you can get with someone that is less attractive and they still can be a dog.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's not just about getting with someone that's less attractive. Do they have these other qualities that go along with it? But because sometimes you're like, he cheated on her? What?
Yeah.
And vice versa. So
by the end of the day, it's about
like, what?
recognizing the green flags. I think we spend too much time on red flags. That if we shift that mentality and that focus, and if your thought process and you have tunnel vision for green flags, then if you prepared yourself for what's in front of you, then you will recognize it, and you will know how to you will know how to accept it and receive it. Because again, if you are looking at green flags, I think that can be so helpful.
It can be helpful, but some people are not ready for the green flags.
Yeah, I know.
They don't love themselves enough. They don't feel like they deserve the green flag, so they find ways to sabotage the green flag and friend zone the person that's giving you green flag. You're saying you want to be in a relationship. This person is ready. This person has all the characteristics, but you're finding something wrong with them. I'm not attracted to that person. Make a great friend or whatever it may be. Yeah. And so sometimes, people think they're ready, but they're not really ready. They haven't really done the work, or they don't feel like they really deserve this. But I feel like you deserve it, knowing that you deserve it, having that sense of self-worth. A lot of things start with self-worth, knowing that you're worthy. Once you know you're worthy, you know what you deserve, and you're not going to settle for less. And I say for less, I don't mean like some people are going to have certain yellow flags. You're not going to get everything that you want, but you look at the overall picture. Like, are you getting majority of the things that you want? So that's what I believe you got to look at. And there's some clear, defined red flags for certain people, and the physical violence, things of that nature. For some people, it's cheating, whatever it may be. But outside of those things, you have to just look at the broader picture. If this person may not be as ambitious as you like, maybe that's okay, because you're super ambitious and they can stay home and help out with the kids, so they can be supportive of your career. So just being open-minded in a lot of ways. How can my friends fill in the gap? I'm not getting this level of support from them. Maybe I can get this from my friends. Maybe I can go on my girls' trip. Maybe I can go on my boys' trip. So having people fill in the gap and diversifying your emotions is important, because say, for instance, something were to happen, then at least you have some emotional support elsewhere.
It's true.
And it also doesn't put such a heavy weight on that person to provide everything for you as well. So I think it's important to diversify your emotions, while you're in a relationship.
Absolutely. So shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody who, I guess they feel like they truly deserve a good person because they're a good person and they've done the work. And shout out to everybody who is going through the process of doing the work. I say continue to do that. I encourage you to continue to be on that journey. And it feels so good once you complete a certain level in a certain chapter of that journey of emotional completion. Because our work is never done throughout life, but you can complete certain phases of whatever you're trying to complete and heal. So shout out to everybody that is doing that work and doing those things, which I'll end on this because we have a whole lot more to talk about. We'll get to on Wednesday, but I'll end on Melody again. Just got back from her self-care vacation. She took some days off of social media. She went out of the country and went on this beautiful vacation, and it really looked like she was by herself. She's done that before, and just take these self-care vacations. It's so important to choose yourself. I have had these conversations for such a long time about choosing yourself. And I know a lot of that came from, once again, watching my mom. I feel like she just never chose herself. And by not choosing herself, I got to kind of watch how her life played out. And I could only imagine how life would have been had she just really chose herself, regardless of how she felt in these situations. But just like, you know what, I'm gonna choose myself. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, make things happen, but I choose me. And I kind of brought that into my youth organization. And so a lot of my teachings, yes, it went toward the young men, but I focus a lot on the young women too, because a lot of times they don't have a male role model telling them, choose yourself. At the end of the day, choose you, regardless of what he's doing, regardless of what she's doing, regardless of what's going on. When you choose yourself, that is what's building your solid confidence. That is what's building your self-esteem. That is what makes it easy for you to walk away from things that are not meant for you. That is what builds your self-worth and your value. And so you won't just settle, because when you settle for less, you end up with less than what you settled for. And so you'll understand what green looks like, and you'll understand right away what red looks like. And so you're choosing what's meant for you, what's going to continue to feed you positivity, mind, body, soul, spirit, and heart. And I love seeing Melody choose herself, because again, she's giving other women permission to go on these self-care vacations and choose themselves. And same with men. Nothing wrong with going on your self-care trips. I just got a booking inquiry for, I've been getting, everybody want to talk about Thailand now, but for a young man that wants to go to Thailand. It's a self-care trip for himself for his birthday, his 30th birthday. And he's just like, I want to stay at a place that is going to feed me wellness. I want to do this, that, and the other. But having that self-care time is so important. You don't need a million people around you. You just need you. And if you can stand your voice, and you can stand your silence, and you can stand your light, and you can stand your darkness, then that's you choosing yourself. You understand how to stand yourself. And that's what the problem is. A lot of people don't know how to just stand within themselves, sit within themselves, love within themselves, light within themselves, dark within themselves, laugh within themselves, joy within themselves, cry within themselves, pray within themselves. You have to be able to choose self. And so shout out to Melody again for promoting choosing yourself and having that self-care. I just think it's a beautiful thing. So I wanted to end with men and women watching this, regardless of the situation or circumstance that you may be in or that you've gone through, start to choose you. Because when you choose you and you love on you and you self-care, that makes you stronger, wiser, better, so much better. Thank y'all so much for tuning into this episode of the R&D show. Please subscribe to our channel. Please share this video. Thumbs up, leave some comments. We want floodgates of comments that we can read and respond to. So leave us a lot of comments, and share this, video on to your family, group chats, to your friends, in your text messages, on all social media platforms, and continue to just ride with the R&D show, because we love y'all and we're grateful and we thank y'all. And we will be back for Wellness Wednesday on Wednesday. So y'all be prepared to let us know how y'all feeling. Wellness Wednesday is coming up. So until next time, take care of yourself and each other. God bless y'all. We love y'all. Peace.